Congratulations, Thorfinn. You just poisoned the natives. Hey there guys, and welcome to another Vinland Saga Manga review. This month we had chapter 180, which was pretty cool if you ask me. Not much happened, but the story is getting to the interesting part. We saw a couple of things, a couple of events. We're going to talk about everything. First of all, did Thorfinn just poison the natives? Congratulations, Thorfinn. You just poisoned the natives. Yeah, you gave them goat milk to people who have never drank milk in their lives. Yeah. Of course, there's no way to know that, but anyway, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. This chapter kind of begins where we left off last month, where Thorfinn and the others are like heading south to find better suited land. And eventually they do find an area where the camp will be set, where they will settle. And it's really nice to see Thorfinn thinking about, thinking logically and thinking strategically. He lays out all of the requirements that the land should have. You know, a river for clean water, a bay for the ships so that they're not, you know, shipwrecked or something. Also, pasture for the goats and the sheep. And what was the fourth one? Oh, and enough trees so that they can cut to build all of their huts and all their houses. So this again, Yukimura is showing us how strategic and methodical Thorfinn is. He really doesn't want anything to go wrong. And we do kind of have this dynamic between him and Eyvar, which we're going to talk in a little bit about that. Eventually they settle. Einar says, okay, the soil is okay. We can grow crops here. Cool. So that's going to be interesting. There's enough sunlight. Cool. And then we kind of have this dynamic between Thorfinn and Eyvar. So what happens is Eyvar is constantly indirectly challenging Thorfinn's authority. So he's the one who's always asking the questions. The why should we settle here? The like, what are we gonna do now? You know. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I like that. I really like Eyvar's character development and depth, because initially I thought, you know, Eyvar is gonna be this narrative device that's gonna be brought into Vinland only to mess things up. He's gonna be the guy that's gonna cause the first fight between the natives and the settlers. He's gonna be the guy that is gonna mess everything up, and he might be that guy, right? He has brought weapons. We should not forget that. So again, there's still a good chance he will be the sole reason why this settlement will fail. But that being said, he's not there just for that. And I really appreciate that. And I really thank Yukimura for making him slightly likable. Like, Eyvar is a little bit the voice of reason. A little bit, because like Thorfinn is in this state of like pacifism and stuff. So he kind of needs someone to be like, hey, what are we doing here? What are you doing? What should we do? And since no one else is going to challenge him, I mean, having Eyvar there do that is good. And I like the fact that he's not stereotypically mustache-twirling villain. You know, like, I'm gonna ruin the settlement, yeah. No. He's like, he wants to take over the settlement, but he is one of the settlers. He's not gonna boycott their own, like, plan. He's not gonna put the settlement to the torch. Get it? Like, he's a villain, and he may cause many issues, yes, but it's more nuanced. When Thorfinn and Eyvar clash, we might get a situation where Eyvar is right. He's speaking logically, like, hey, maybe we should grab some weapons, Thorfinn. You know? And maybe it's Thorfinn who makes the mistake and ruins everything. You don't know. But in this chapter, we start to see him messing with the other settlers. While Thorfinn is missing, while Thorfinn has taken Hild and they've gone into the forest to kind of search for the natives, Eyvar is actively functioning as a leader, even though no one appointed him as a leader. He is pointing fingers and he's saying, you should do this, do that. We see this with Halvor, right? We see this with Halvor where he goes, hey, you, the tall guy, come in here. You have to help us. And it's like, dude, who gave you the authority to give orders? Like, okay, we're helping here, whatever. And Halvor eventually goes and helps because he's kind-hearted. He wants to help the best way he can. That was a really nice move on his part. He did not want to play the identity card and be like, no, I'm actually staying with the women and stuff. That was cool. I kind of like him more for that. I think Gudrid at some point even points that out. She says like, hey, why is he giving orders? What is he doing? Why is he talking to the settlers, you know? Yeah. So Eyvar is almost acting like Thorfinn's second in command without there being any discussion about that. Just because he shouts a lot and he has like a loud voice, everyone kind of follows what he says. And that, I think that will play a role later when people will side with him because he will appear more powerful. The key word here is appear. He's not as strong mentally and physically even as Thorfinn, but the other settlers don't know this. They see Thorfinn as this kind of goody two-shoes, really good, kind-hearted guy, but they don't know what he's been through and what he's capable of. Okay? So I think this will play a role later. People will side with Eyvar because he appears more tough. And now, let's get to the final part, I think, of the chapter, which is Thorfinn and Hild going into the woods to find the natives. Because the fifth requirement that Thorfinn gave was like, we have to make sure we're not trespassing into other people's land. Which is kind of understandable where he comes from. But I doubt that native tribes worked like that. Especially since they were nomadic. And especially since they were moving from one place to the other. But anyway, that was a good train of thought. Good idea to go and search for the natives first. And we get some really cool panels with Hild and Thorfinn in the woods. I really enjoyed these panels because, first of all, Yukimura did an amazing job with the flora, with all the plants and how wild this area looks and feels like. They're in an uninhabited part of the world, or in an undiscovered part of the world. So, and it does remind me of the level of detail we were used to back in the Farmland arc. Like everything's kind of more gritty and dark and a lot of shades. And there's an amazing interaction between Thorfinn and Hild. Finally, Hild gets some character development. She finally seems like she's starting to chill. She's becoming way more relaxed, I feel. She even like smiles a couple of times in this chapter. And there's a little bit of back and forward between these two characters. Like, what is she going to do if we're being attacked? How will you save Carly or whatever? And what are you planning to do with the natives? And again, Hild here is testing him in a way, right? She wants to see he still wants to see his motives, but she knows, Thorfinn is not a bad guy. But she's still testing him. And we do get a little bit of character development on her because she's moving on from being this, I don't know how to say this guardian dog that was behind Thorfinn all the time, and it was like, if you make a mistake, if you kill someone, I'm gonna kill you. And now she's turning into an actual companion, into an actual friend of Thorfinn, even. Slowly getting there. She's not there yet, but that's cool. We wanted that. We wanted Hild to escape from this always grumpy state of hers. And now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the natives. So we don't actually see them. We get a glimpse of them from a little bit afar when they actually find two bags. Because Thorfinn's plan was, we're going to go into this wilderness, see if there's anyone. If we hear or find anyone, I've brought 2 bags of stuff with me, some meat and some other products, and we're going to leave it there as a gift exchange, which historically that was almost like the first interaction between two peoples. They would always like exchange stuff. So that was a really good idea, really good plan. I really like it. I don't know about him leaving the stuff there and then going back to the settlement. Because his plan was like, we're going to leave this here. They're going to find it. They're going to try it. And they're going to follow us to the camp. And then they will know, hey, we've come with friendly intentions. So he avoids the first interaction happening within the camp, where Eyvar or some other, hot-blooded dude may intervene, or someone may scare them. Thorfinn also does not look very scary as well. He does not have a beard, right? And it's just 2 people. So that was really good on his part. Really good thinking. But I don't know about the leaving the stuff there and leaving. We see that they found them. We see that the natives found them. They were actually following Hild and Thorfinn from a certain point on, because Hild heard them, which again, really cool to have Hild. She's used to these environments, to these forests, and so really cool. But the issue is that one of the things Thorfinn left there was goat milk. And to my knowledge, these natives, like Canadian natives, okay, they did not have neither sheep, nor goats, nor bovines, nor cows. So their understanding of what milk is very limited. Of course, there were women there, right, and they were breastfeeding, but they're most likely lactose intolerant, all of them. So giving them milk just like that might actually poison a number of them. And that is a huge issue. I think one of the saga versions of the story, of how the actual expedition fell apart, was that they gave them milk. And the natives thought they were poisoned. There's a second version to that story, a little bit different, involving a demon, the natives thinking that the settlers have brought a demon with them, but who knows. Yeah, I doubt that Yukimura placed this reference there for no reason. And I don't know. The food alone is a bad sign. Even if the milk wasn't there, the food, you don't know how their bodies will react to your cuisine, right? So there's a really good chance the natives will think Thorfinn poisoned them. Now, do I think this is how the settlement will fall apart? No, it's pretty early yet. But I do think that some seeds have been planted. Now, what's going to happen with the next chapters? We know for a fact that the next chapter will be all about building the settlement. So I don't expect much. I expect Thorfinn and the settlers to be building houses, clearing the land, making some tools. Yeah, so the next chapter will probably just be about building their settlement. But maybe this is really interesting because we get to see the layout of the settlement. I do also suspect we're gonna get to know a lot more settlers in the next couple of chapters. Like maybe we'll get to see some farmer settlers that are closer to Einar. Maybe we'll get to see some of the women of the settlement that are closer to Gudrid and Halvor. So next chapter shouldn't be that interesting or that important, unless, of course, the natives do show up. I do kind of expect the natives to show up at the very end of the next chapter, like make a dramatic entrance, and then we get to see them from up close. What do they look like? Are they friendly? Are they hostile? Let me think. Did anything else happen? No, I think that's all. And again, I do think the Yukimura is going pretty fast with these developments. Like 3 chapters ago, we were back in Greenland, and now they've found where they're gonna settle. They've met the natives, okay, whatever. And yeah, like Yukimura's really moving forward with it. Yeah, I cannot complain about how the story's moving forward. No. Would I want more beefier chapters? Sure. Okay, I feel that a lot of times there's just not enough in there. But I think we're going to get to them eventually when things start to fall apart. I do expect another mini time skip to happen as well. Like after this mini arc where the settlers finally settle and they meet the natives, I do expect a year or half a year time skip to the point where the settlers are fully settled, and then we get to see the developments from then on. Because, going by the original story of how things played out, the settlers did stay there for a couple of winters. So before things fall apart, we might actually have a small time skip to get there, to get to the interesting stuff. I don't think we're going to pass 2 years with the natives just, plowing the fields and growing crops and now, what did you guys think of this chapter? Did you think that this goat milk thing is legit, or do you think it's just a reference, like a product that Thorfinn brought with him that will not play a role in the story moving forward? And what do you think of Eyvar and Hild, their development in this chapter? So, if you guys want to watch more Vinland Saga videos, I have a ton of Vinland Saga content. So check these videos out, and I guess I'll see you on the next Vinland Saga manga review, guys. So, have an amazing week, and stay safe, stay healthy, and until next time, fellow settlers.